Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this beautiful Ankara jacket. Just like you can see, I use lining to tone mine. If this sounds like something you're interested in, keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you all for 500 subscribers. With that being said, let's get on with the tutorial. Right here, guys, I have my Ankara piece of fabric folded into four, and I'm going to be using the open sides for that of the front, and then the one that is closed for the back, because this is a jacket. In order to know how wide you should make your fold, just go ahead to divide your largest part of the body by 4, which for my client is our hip line. So I just went ahead to divide that by 4, and then I added half an inch extra. This half an inch is for ease. Then you can also go ahead to add your stitching allowance. For me, I use 1.5, but I advise that you use 1 inch so that you don't go wasting your fabric. The first thing I'll go ahead to do is to mark half an inch away from this region, which is going to serve as my starting line or my shoulder line. Then from this shoulder line, I'm going to come down by my client's half length measurement, which is 17.5. Our hip line, I just added 8 inches to that. And then for the full length, I went ahead to mark out 30 inches. So I'm just going to mark this all round and then connect with straight rules. At the hemline, I intentionally left 2.5 inches. This is to serve as my turnout for the lining. At the shoulder line, I'll just go ahead to place my measuring tape, just like you can see, towards the part with the open edge, and then I'm going to mark my client's shoulder measurement divided by 2, and that for me is 8 inches. Then from that point, I'll just come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and then I'm going to go ahead to place my tape rule lower than this. From this point, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope, and I'm working with an armhole depth of 9 inches. I marked 9.5. Half an inch is for allowance. I also went ahead to mark out this point with a horizontal row. This is for my chest line. At the chest line, I took my shoulder measurement, that is 8 inches, and I'm just going to be connecting it all the way to the top with my straight ruler to give me my armhole. Then I'm going to divide what I have here into 2 and then mark it half an inch inwards. This is to create my armhole curve. At the chest line, I'm going to divide the actual bust measurements by 4 and then mark it at this point. Proceed to connect these 3 points together to give me my armhole curve. With this though, I'm going to add 2 inches extra. Half an inch is for ease, and then the other 1.5 inches I added for the sewing allowance. Then at the waistline, so I'm just going to divide my actual waist measurement by 4, and I'm also going to add 2 inches to this. Do the same thing at the hip line, and whatever I have for the hip line, I'm going to take this at the full length area. I will just connect these points together to give me my body shape. With this done, let's go ahead to work on the neck area. So I took a neck width of 4 inches, and then for the neck depth of the back, I took it to be 1.5, and then for the front neck depth, I took it to be 4.5 inches. Now these measurements can vary depending on what you want. I'll connect the both points together to give me my neckline. Now you can use freehand for this, or you can use your ruler. I'll also draw out my shoulder slant, and with that, we're basically through for drafting the front and the back. I'll just go ahead to cut everything out. And with that, we're through with cutting out the front and the back. You can notice that I left half an inch towards the neck area and also the shoulder areas. Now, next thing we proceed to do is to cut out the lining. I cut out the lining exactly to be like that of the main piece. The only difference is that the lining is 2 inches shorter than what I have for the main fabric. Remember that the main fabric is 2 inches, 2.5 inches longer than what it normally is supposed to be. So why the lining is 2 inches shorter. Now the next thing for us to go ahead to do is to bring the front pieces and align them right sides facing each other. So I'm going to stitch on the shoulder and also stitch on the both sides, like to shape it. For me, I left 1.5 inches for stitching allowances. I'm just going to take this 1.5 inch all the way from the bust to the waist to the hip and then to the full length. I'll repeat the same thing for the lining piece also. So guys, having done all of that, this is what I have it looking like. I've gone ahead to sew all the places I said I'm going to, and I also went ahead to iron it flat. Can you see what this is looking like? Towards the sides also, I ironed it out, like to bring out the shape. That is the bust, waist and hip. I also repeated the same process for the lining also. The next thing I'll go ahead to do is to bring the front and the lining pieces together. I'm going to align them right sides facing each other, and I'm going to stitch on this lower area. I will pin it all through, pin it appropriately in place, and then stitch it with 1/2 inch. Having made my stitch, guys, this is what I have it looking like. Now the next thing I'll just go ahead to do is to align it together at this neck region. When I align it together, it's going to actually be like this, so it's just going to overlap it like this, creating that turn up effect. Now I'm just going to go ahead to stitch this like this all the way from the bottom to the neckline. I'm going to curve around the neckline and then to the other side of the jacket. You can go ahead to pin this in place, but I don't have pins as of making this video. Having made my stitch all around, this is what I have it looking like. Now the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to notch around the neckline so as to enable us to turn this very well to the right side. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead to notch it all around, and after notching it, I will just turn all of this towards the right side, passing it through and either of the armholes that is here present. So guys, you just take your time to turn it all the way to the right side. Use your scissors for the corners where necessary. Now when you're done with all the turning, the next thing is to align the armhole together, pin around the armhole, and then stitch on the armhole. Now guys, this is a sleeve that I've cut out, and can you see how the hem is looking like? Yes, because we're going to be using lining to turn this. So the first thing I'll go ahead to do is to stitch on it at the bottom. I'm going to do this for the both sides using 1/2 inch. This is what it's looking like after ironing everything flat. I'll just go ahead to take the measurement of what I have around the armhole in order to know how wide our armhole is going to be for the sleeve. Now bringing my sleeves, this is what I have it looking like, having joined them. Now I'm just going to go ahead to fold it like this and then make sure that these 2 points they align together. You can go ahead to use your pin to hold this. Now whatever I have it to be at the armhole region of the jacket, I'm also going to measure that to be the armhole of both the sleeve and then the lining also. The same thing with the round sleeve. Also input this measurement and then just sew it following this shape. Having made my stitches, the next thing I'll go ahead to do is to trim away these excess allowances that I have right here. Now after trimming it, I'm going to go ahead to turn this to the right side and then arrange it just like you can see. After this, I'm going to go ahead to top stitch around the sleeve. This is what I have my both sleeves to be looking like right now. I've also gone ahead to iron it very well. Now the next I'm going to go ahead to do is to place it in a way that we're going to stitch it around the armhole. Now I'll just go ahead to just tuck it in just like you can see, and then I'm just going to go ahead to pin it at the top and also at the bottom, that is at the joining of the body and also the joining of the shoulder. Then I'm going to go ahead to stitch it all around. So guys, this is what the inside is looking like. Can you see I've joined the sleeves and I've also weaved around the armhole. Turning all of this to the right side, we are basically done with this tutorial. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and also subscribe. Thank you all so much for watching this far, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.